Hi everybody, and welcome back to Teachers Talk Money, where I help teachers master their money in order to give back to themselves. I've got a little extra video for you today all about Dry January 2021, what that means, why I'll be doing it, and sort of my history with Dry Januaries. If you've been following me from the beginning, you might remember that I did a Dry January 2 years ago in 2019, right smack in the middle of my first year teaching. If you're not familiar, a Dry January is exactly what it sounds like. You don't drink any alcohol for the first month of the year. Now, my first Dry January 2 years ago was almost entirely successful. I did give up alcohol for most of the month. However, at the end of the month, when my first semester of teaching was over, I decided I wanted to celebrate with a few drinks. So I did break it for one day. Other than that, I was stone cold sober, and I wasn't really disappointed that I broke that sobriety for one day, just because it was a very intentional and positive choice for me at that time. That being said, this year I'm looking forward to making it through the entire month without breaking it at all. 2 years ago, this was more of a challenge because bars were actually open. Basically, I knew that the most challenging part for me would be feeling the fear of missing out anytime my friends were going out to bars or clubs and I couldn't go with them, or I went out but wouldn't be drinking with them. And this year that is really not a problem at all, since none of my friends are frequenting or going to any bars or clubs at all. So in a way, this Dry January should be set to easy mode, since so many of the typical social temptations will no longer be there. And of course, with not leaving the house, I'm just not drinking socially as much as I otherwise would, just because the whole Zoom happy hour vibe does not bring with me the same encouragement to drink that a normal in-person happy hour would. Like most people, I saw my alcohol consumption increase quite a bit at the beginning of quarantine. I think that this happened to a lot of people, but because we were feeling so much boredom, my work closed down for 2 weeks out of the blue. And of course, we were feeling a lot of anxiety because we had a lot of anxiety about what this pandemic even meant and what the state of the world was going to be. I definitely was not binge drinking in any sense of the word. It was more that I was drinking casually a lot more, having 1 to 2 glasses of wine at night. I did make a rule for myself that I wouldn't drink 2 nights in a row, so I would have maybe 1 to 2 glasses of wine every other night or every third night or whatever I saw fit, which was still a lot more than I was used to consuming. And at first it was really nice, but eventually it just got old. I stopped feeling the same effects as my tolerance increased. And more than that, the novelty of it really started to wear off, making it less of a positive experience and more of a habit that I wasn't really sure why I was doing it, and it sort of started to feel like empty calories just because I wasn't getting really much out of any of the drinks I was having. When I did Dry January 2 years ago, my motivation was to stop socially binge drinking, which was something I was doing anytime that I went out. So maybe every other week and sometimes once a week. And while I got a lot of value out of it in the sense that I had a lot of fun going out, it really started to mess with my mental health, and it always made the day after feel much less productive and higher anxiety, and even triggered my depression in a lot of cases. So this year things are very different because I'm no longer really binge drinking that frequently. Instead, I just don't feel like alcohol is adding that much value to my life. So I'm looking forward to using this time as a reset, and I'm sort of doing this as a way to lean into some of the positive changes that I've already been making. For the past month or so, I somehow, and I don't know where this has come from, I've somehow found the motivation to really focus on my health and well-being. For me, this means eating more mindfully and intentionally, and of course, exercising, which is something I've been doing almost every day for the past month, which is, if you know me at this stage of my life, very, very out of character for me right now. So I've magically found this motivation to start leaning into my health a lot more. Again, I have no idea where this came from, so I can't really give you any tips on increasing motivation because that's something I'm actually pretty terrible at, but it has come here, so while it's here, I'm leaning into it and I'm trying to make really, really healthy choices. And so I think Dry January for me is just another way to sort of add on to that and compound those effects, especially during this time where there really won't be that much temptation to be drinking often. I want to be very clear that I personally do not believe that alcohol consumption is wrong in its own right, by any sense of the word. I really feel like mindful consumption of alcohol can add a lot of value to people's lives if you're not somebody who is an addict. Instead, I just think that we should always all be very reflective and analytical of all of our habits, especially when it comes to our physical and mental well-being. And it's great to take a pause on some of these habits and really start to see and reevaluate whether or not these actions are aligning with our long-term values and goals. So in order to see if this habit is really serving me in the way that I feel like it is, I'm going to be quitting alcohol for the month of January 2021. I'm going to try to see it all the way through this time around, unlike in 2019. But that being said, as always, I'm going to extend myself grace and patience and forgiveness every step along the way, because there is no place for shame in doing challenges like these. If you'd like to follow along on my journey, I'm going to be posting about it on Instagram as we go through. My Instagram's Teachers Talk Money, just like my YouTube channel here. If not, I will be posting a Dry January reflection and possibly an update in the middle of the month for you guys to check out on the channel as well. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. As always, it means the world to me that you are here. Please make sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. All of these things are so special to me, and I couldn't be more grateful. Have an amazing week, you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!